My mother-in-law thought she could ruin our Christmas, humiliate me in front of everyone, and still expect to play the doting parent at our wedding. She was wrong, because on the day she wanted to shine the most, I made sure she tasted the consequences of her cruelty. If you've ever dealt with manipulative in-laws or toxic family members, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and buckle up. Because this story is about standing your ground, reclaiming your peace, and watching karma work in the sweetest way. Christmas is supposed to be warm, full of laughter, the smell of food, and the comfort of family. But for me, last Christmas became the breaking point. My husband and I had been together for 4 years, married just 1, and wow, we had our share of challenges, nothing compared to his family, especially his mother and sister-in-law. That day, the festive spirit vanished the moment my mother-in-law opened her mouth. Her words weren't just sharp, they were humiliating. She ridiculed me, dismissed my place in the family, and in front of everyone made it painfully clear she didn't respect me or our relationship. Her daughter, my husband's sister, chimed in, throwing insults, rolling her eyes, and making the room colder than the December wind outside. The worst part? It wasn't just disrespect, it was a calculated attack. And when the tension boiled over, we were kicked out of their house on Christmas Day. Imagine being shoved out the door like you're nothing more than a nuisance, standing there with your husband, while the sound of laughter and clinking glasses carried on behind closed doors. We went home broken, but something in me hardened. I knew this wasn't something we could sweep under the rug. My husband, bless his heart, agreed. So we set boundaries. We decided to confront them face to face. We met with his parents. My mother-in-law cried. She apologized profusely, swearing up and down that she was embarrassed, that she hadn't meant to hurt us. She played the part of the guilty parent perfectly, tears, trembling voice, the works. And for a moment, I almost felt sympathy, almost, because here's the thing. Apologies mean nothing without change, and I made sure she knew exactly where I stood. I told her I couldn't trust her anymore. That forgiveness wasn't a button I could press just because she felt sorry. I told her the only reason I was even considering any kind of relationship was because she was my husband's mother, but her daughter. I was done completely. I refused to expose myself to her abuse ever again. Her face crumpled. My father-in-law sighed heavily, caught between defending his daughter and trying not to lose his son. Then came the real blow. We told them their daughter was uninvited from our wedding, that she had shown with her words and her actions that she didn't respect our love. And if she couldn't celebrate our marriage, she had no place. At the celebration, my mother-in-law sobbed harder, claiming she never expected this. My father-in-law gritted his teeth, saying he understood, but clearly didn't accept it. Still, we didn't back down. Not this time. Our wedding came, and it was everything we had dreamed of: magical, intimate, full of people who genuinely loved and supported us. For the first time in a long time, I felt light-free. The shadows of Christmas Day seemed far away, but as the honeymoon glow faded, reality returned. My in-laws acted as if nothing had happened. Invitations for dinners, drinks, football games, fake smiles, and cheerful tones like Christmas hadn't been a war zone. When we declined, confusion turned to guilt trips. Things were good. In Mexico, why are you acting like this now? They'd say, or worse, they'd spring last-minute news that the sister would be at events, hoping we'd cave. When we refused, they accused my husband of breaking the family apart. And the cruelest jab, my father-in-law saying, "Your grandparents won't live forever, do it for them." As if we should sacrifice our peace just to keep appearances for elders who didn't even know the full story. But here's the truth. We weren't bending anymore. My husband stood firm, telling them again and again, we don't want to be around his sister, that our relationship with them would never be what it once was, that their denial and manipulation only pushed us further away. I could see it in their eyes. They never really understood. They thought our boundaries were temporary, a phase. They believed time would wear us down. But what they didn't realize was this. Once trust is shattered, it doesn't magically mend. And I was Done being the silent victim, so we stopped engaging. We didn't visit, didn't answer calls, unless necessary, didn't pretend for the sake of appearances. For months we lived without them, and you know what? It felt good, peaceful, the weight of their drama lifted from our shoulders. The real climax came on our wedding day. Remember, we had told them their daughter was not welcome, and we meant it. When my mother-in-law asked if we'd reconsider, we stayed silent. When she tried to play the sympathy card, we didn't budge. And so on the day she expected her daughter to be there in shining glory, there was only silence, the seat where she would have sat. Empty, a powerful reminder that respect is not optional, my mother-in-law. What my father-in-law sat stiff, and the guests whispered, but my husband and I, we danced, we laughed, we celebrated love without toxicity lurking in the corners. That day wasn't just about our vows, it was about reclaiming our dignity, about showing them that their manipulation had no power here now. Months later, we barely speak to them. We see them at birthdays, maybe, but the closeness, gone. And while it hurts my husband, he knows this is what's best for us. He knows that protecting our peace is more important than maintaining a false image of family unity. For me, it was never about revenge for the sake of cruelty. It was about justice, about proving that when you cross certain lines, there are consequences. They thought they could break me, humiliate me, and still play happy family. Instead, they lost access to us, and their daughter lost the privilege of being part of our happiest day. Revenge isn't always fire and fury. Sometimes it's quiet, firm, and unforgettable. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button and tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying family karma you've ever seen? And don't forget subscribe for more true Reddit revenge stories that'll keep you hooked until the very end.